Hi guys. I've been, let me say, thinking about uh, the past a lot lately. Not my past specifically, but um, our collective past as human beings. And I wanted to put something into perspective. Um, this applies to everyone listening. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let me get this. Hold on. I forgot to share. Um, but anyway, this applies to everyone, all of them. All of the peoples. Let me go to Always Training page and share as well. I need to go back and do the other anyone here. No, okay, good. All right, go back to my page. Come on, people. All right. Sorry, guys, doing some housekeeping right now. Just a little housekeeping. That's good. I'll just leave it as is. All right. Um, Thinking about the past, our collective past as human beings, I realized how grateful we should really be. And that's an easy thing to say. We should be grateful. It could always get worse, which is quite the I don't want to say negative point of view, but think about it from this way. You got to think about it from the idea of what it does inside you, what this phrase does. It could always be worse. Be grateful. Um, if it could always be worse, the focus is on how bad it could be. So if you're doing something, or if you're being appreciative, if you're feeling grateful, um, then you're doing it because the feeling of it could being worse is pushing you towards that be grateful end, that end saying, let me be grateful. So don't get me wrong, that's not a thing that doesn't work. Um, There we go. All right. Yeah, that should be good. It isn't something that isn't going to work or doesn't work. It does, but you got to look at how it works, why it works. What is it about that phrase that makes you think you should be grateful? And it's a push. You're being pushed away from a negative. Um, in the earlier Ninpost, the first Ninpost season, in that series with Stephen K. Hayes' 14-point mindful action code. I don't know if you recognize this, but every point of the 14 points had two parts to it. And one of those pulled you in the direction you needed to go, and one of those pushed you away from the direction you didn't want to go. That concept is important. You need both a push and a pull. Imagine if you not only did you have the wind in your sails, but you also had the oars out. You go pretty fast. And still in the right direction. So it's easy to say that you're grateful for something. Well, let's put some flesh on those bones. And let's look back in history. You history buffs, correct me if I'm wrong, or guide me in the right direction, if you will, please. Everyone, think of this. History, the science of knowing our history, so whether anthropology or whatever ology we're talking about, they define history as when we first started writing. When cave paintings, when we first started going, let me draw something that looks like something I am familiar with, and it's a story. That kind of idea and thought. So, from prehistory, so before the first caveman drawing, which who knows, we haven't explored every cave on this planet. We don't know what the oldest cave drawing is yet. It could be one we've already seen. It's just the fact that we haven't seen them all. We can't say that we know which one is the absolute oldest. Of the ones we found, yes. Of the ones that are available for us to find on Earth, we don't know yet. That being said, prehistory is before cave paintings. History is cave paintings on. Further. So you think about the first people that ate berries and blueberries and was like, this is some good, I like blueberries. And then you got, we'll eat these berries. And then you got, John over there, or Grog, it was Grog over there. He ate that other thing. I'm going to call that nightshade because he didn't feel too good and he didn't seem to survive that. So let's not eat those. From living that kind of life, no rules, nature's rules. And nature says if you're bigger and stronger and you want to, if you're a bear and you want to eat that man, have at it. So I want to say the first organization of humans did so from a point of view of humility. We banded together because we knew that we as who we are, as a person, as a single individual, couldn't be the biggest, baddest animal on the planet. I mean, we had mastodons, saber-toothed tigers to contend with. We're like, no, I can't do this, but maybe we can. It's the first organization. When more than one person came together for a singular goal. They tribed up. So then you move on to that I guess that would be part of the Stone Age, and you move on to Bronze Age and Iron Age, and there was a Bronze Age collapse, if I'm not mistaken, and then we started using iron ore, and then that became a stronger metal. I don't know if you guys know this, but metal is weaker than stone. We went from the Stone Age and found a weaker thing and changed not its composition. We used pure metals way back in that day, or as pure as we could get them. and they were malleable. We could make them into things, and then our creativity came into play, and we're like, well, I can make stuff with this. What do I need? Well, I'm used to making arrowheads. What if I made one of those from this? And then the guy did, and he's got arrowheads, or let's say spearheads. He's got a spearhead. First guy in his tribe to work metal enough to make a spearhead. He's got a spear. He's the only guy to in the tribe to have made a spear. Um, and to make a spearhead out of metal, not stone. I'm on live. um, so what happens is they go out on raids and raids and raids, and it dulls. Now, stone tools don't dull; they'll chip. And so the skill they knew was to re-chip that thing into a new edge, into the stone tool, stone arrowhead or spearhead, to re-chip it into a new place, into a new edge. Well, you can't chip metal. You can. You can't chip the metal they used. You can chip it today, but you can't chip the metal the bronze. That's not something that's really easy to chip. You can sever. You can like put it between a couple of scissors, big enough and strong enough. And then yeah, I mean you can cut it, but it won't chip like you would expect, or as much. So he had to learn the skill of grinding back the edge to its original, or at least as close to its original edge as possible. But one of the things that happened was, even though stone is a harder material, that makes it more brittle. So if you've got someone that is in a tribe of individuals, and then you've got this, everyone's a flint knapper. Everyone has stone spearheads. There's one guy has learned how to use metal, how to work metal into a bronze spearhead. All of a sudden, that spear can technically be handed down to his children because it stays sharp, or it doesn't stay sharp, but it stays. It doesn't get broken in the process of hunting. Anyway, I went on a tangent. So we went from uh, cavemen. You know, think about how grateful you are in life. We went from cavemen. We want to put meat on our bones. Our bone in this live, our bones are gratitude and appreciation. Okay, so those are our bones. We want to put some meat on those bones. And here's our story. From olden days to today, like Stone Age, Bronze Age collapse, Iron Age, through Victorian era, all the way through from medieval to the Victorian era, to the industrial era, right? I just got out of my shower. This is kind of what prompted it. It was a shower thought. But I turned on the water, and I needed the slightest bit of patience to wait for the heat to come. And I have the water at whatever temperature I like. You bring someone from medieval times whose understanding of the temperature of water is whatever nature provides. If it's in the winter, it's cold. If it's in the summer, it's less cold. But you know, warm water, you had to put that in a pot and heat it up. A comfortable bath? So tonight's spontaneous live number 1 is about gratitude. And if we think about it from the point of view, from the perspective that there are things in our collective past, and I say collective because it doesn't matter what culture we're from. At some point, every genetic past, my genetic past, along with everyone else's genetic past, at some point we lived close to the earth. It's not something regulated to Native Americans. They found a way to still do it today, though. So hats off to that. Now it's up to us to find ours and to begin and to live closer to nature's laws and cycles, understand their cycles. And then start off with one of the best ones I know of. That's gratitude. Gratitude will give you a lot of good things. You find yourself in a place where you're not grateful for something in your life. Find out what it is, find out how to change perspective. What's missing? If you feel like there's a problem in your life, there's a situation, and everyone's first thought when it comes to a problem that they've identified in their life, it's their problem. I just have to deal with it. I want to say no. I want to say that's not necessarily what we want to focus on. Can't control anyone else. Sure, you can have some sort of influence, but they're the ones making the decisions. Every other human being makes their own decisions for their life. And if we can accept that, then we're in a better place in here. Because then we go, what's in here that isn't matching what needs to happen out there? Find out what's missing and figure that out. Recently, I found myself in a place where I wasn't being very grateful. And I did, there's another definition for you, dark work. Dark work doesn't have anything to do with demons and devils. Dark work is, as Jung defined it, illuminating the dark areas of your soul. The things you don't look at, the habits, the subconscious things that you think make up who you are. Things we don't look at. So illuminating those dark areas, finding out what those habits are, why those habits exist, what memories of my past created those habits based upon how I perceived the events of in the moment, current moment, past now, how I perceive them. Because that's the filter that taught me something that was beneficial in that moment. As beneficial as my filter was able to create for me. And it's one of those things where those past memories need to be revisited with the today's, at least on some level, more mature human side of who I am. I need to revisit those memories and go, that's not how I needed to think about that. How should I have thought about that? And then you replay that memory as if you had made a different decision. Now, treat the world as if today's world were the same decisions you had already made. You can't literally go to the past and change them. But change them here. Change them here. So that new decisions aren't based upon the faulty logic that you used to use. And instead of going, it just feels right. Well, have you trained yourself to know what truly does feel right, or something that your emotions are trying to tell you? That's dark work. That is dark work. Anyway, we got pretty deep today, guys. Our spontaneous lives aren't always going to be this way. But we've covered a lot of ground. And here's the challenge I set for whoever wants to take this challenge onto themselves, is find the bones, find the inspirational bones, the things that you want to do, the structure. And if they don't have enough meat on them yet, in other words, they don't mean something to you yet, but you know they should, right? Like everyone does. Everyone talks about how they want to live a healthier life, but they're not doing it. So wanting to live a healthier life are the bones, and finding out the purchase, the thing that pulls the whole of you into the direction you want to go. That's the meat on the bones. In fact, it's everything else. It's the offal, it's the tendons and ligaments and skin and mucus and all of that stuff. So find a direction, find your goal, and add as much meat as you can now. If it's not enough, fine. Write it down if you need to write it down, put it somewhere, come back to it, contemplate how you could put some more meat on those bones, and if you find something else, you can add something else to that until you get to a point where you're pulling your own strings, so to speak. I mean, if you're the puppet, not the puppeteer, then someone's the puppeteer. For a lot of people, it's the news, mainstream media. For a lot of people, it's social media. It's still media. That's the puppeteer causing them to go, oh no, something else bad happened. There's a airplane list about a guy going to an island that still hasn't come out yet. We should be mad. We should, sure. But if that's what they're telling you to focus on, and you're letting them, maybe you need to take back some of your power. Become your own puppeteer. Pull the strings you know need to be pulled so that you move in the right direction. Find the bones you want to have. Add meat to the bones as much as you can until you start moving in that direction. If you're good at your pace, I guess you should leave it there. I wouldn't want to, though. Add some more meat so that you pace a little faster. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on board or watching this after the video. If you have any comments, leave them in the bottom. This has nothing to do with the current contest going on with the Bushcraft A to Z series. This is its own thing. So if you want to guess the next one, I believe the next one is D. Delta. So if you want to guess D, go to C, Charlie, bushcraft A to Z, C, and in the comment section, tell me what you think D is going to be. Anyway, again, not in this video, that video. Y'all have a good night.